Oftentimes in science fiction, they create a dark vision of the future. The darker, the better. But you see, take a look at the past. When you take a look at the past, you begin to realize the enormous advances that we've had. In 1900, the average American lived to be the age of 49. Long-distance communication was yelling out the window. High-speed travel was getting stuck in the mud with your wagon. That's what it was like back then. There were no antibiotics and vaccines. Modern medicine didn't exist in those days. Sanitation was awful. And now look at today. Today, we live in a world where lifespans are expanding, where we have the ability to communicate internationally around the world almost instantly. And then think of our grandkids. Our grandkids will live in a world where information is basically free. We'll be able to create artificial bodies and grow new organs of the bodies, extend the human lifespan. So I like to think of it as progress, not simply a dystopia.
Tell us your fantasy. We'll give you the memory.
For the first time in history, scientists have been able to take a memory, record it, and then put it right back into the brain. Scientists took the brain of a rat, they trained it to do a task, and then they recorded the impulses in the hippocampus, which is located right at the center of the brain. Then the rat forgot the task. Then they reinserted the electromagnetic impulses into the hippocampus, and boom, the rat relearned the task. It remembered the task that it had forgotten. So in the future, it's very well possible that we might have vacations. We might have experiences going into other planets, going into other environments that are totally fictitious, and having them implanted into the hippocampus of the brain, because the hippocampus is the gateway to memory. Right now, robots do the dirty work. They go into radioactive areas like in Fukushima, which is highly radioactive. They do dangerous work with explosives. They do dangerous work, tedious work in construction sites. So right now, robots do the dirty work, things that are tedious, things that are too dangerous for the average person. That's because these robots are not self-aware. They don't think. They don't plan. They don't have any understanding of who they are. They simply carry out a very well-defined task. The singularity is the point at which robots become sentient. They become as smart as us. But not only that, they can have children. They can have the next generation smarter than the previous generation. And then the third generation is smarter than the second generation, is smarter than the first generation, and it simply ramps itself up until we have a singularity of intelligence. Well, personally, I think there's no law of physics to prevent such a thing. I think we're many, many decades away from creating a machine that is intelligent as a human. But at some point, it may be possible to create robots that can create second-generation robots smarter than the original.
Track him.
And then there's nothing to prevent this runaway effect. Now, what are we going to do? Are we going to be relegated to a zoo, and our robots are going to throw peanuts at us and make us dance behind bars? I don't think so. One possibility is to, in the far future, merge with our creations. I mean, what's wrong with waking up one day and finding yourself with a perfect body? You're beautiful, you're strong, and also, hey, you're also immortal.
I'm recording this message as a fail-safe. So if you're watching this now, it means you're in some seriously deep shit.
When holograms were first introduced, people thought they were science fiction. I mean, imagine a three-dimensional ghost-like image, unlike anything we've ever seen before. However, holograms exist, and in the future, three-dimensional images could become commonplace. First of all, we're going to have the internet in your contact lens. Therefore, when you shoot images into your contact lens, you'll see things in 3 dimensions. And so you will see people, 3-dimensional images of people who are not really there. You'll be able to teleconference with them. You'll be able to talk to them, but they're not really there because they exist in your contact lens. Not to mention that you could be placed inside a room that has 3 dimensions projecting onto each wall, so that you feel like you're in an imaginary environment It's in 3 dimensions, so you see these ghost-like images coming at you, and yet you are simply sitting in a chair inside this room. This room is called the cave, and we actually have working models of the cave. I was placed in the cave. In fact, I was placed in the middle of a dinosaur fight. All of a sudden, dinosaurs were lunging at me in 3 dimensions. I actually put my head in the mouth of a dinosaur in 3 dimensions, and you can do that because you're surrounded by these images. And then, of course, we have the hologram itself. Holograms are very expensive. It takes lasers in order to create a holographic image, and we only create 1 image at a time because that's how expensive these images are.
Thank you.
One day, it may be possible to use holograms to create an artificial you, a you that looks different from what you are, to disguise yourself, to create a holographic image so that you can change like a chameleon from one person to another. Flying cars are the staple of science fiction, and believe it or not, we already have them. The problem is they're really expensive. So the challenge of engineering is to bring down the cost of these hover cars. Hover cars come in 3 types. The first is a car that has wings. The wings fold up, and you ride like an ordinary car. And when you want to take off, you get on a runway, unfold the wings, and there you go. The second flying car has 2 gigantic fans underneath. And so just like a helicopter, it takes off vertically because of the power of 2 fans underneath the chassis. The third type of hover car is the maglev car. That is magnetic levitation. Riding on a cushion of magnetism, it floats in the air.
Travel time to the United Federation of Britain, 17 minutes. Dropping in 60 seconds.
Believe it or not, if you could drill a straight hole right into the Earth connecting point A and point B, the amount of time it takes to go through is the same, no matter where you drill that hole. So believe it or not, in principle, you can go from any point to any other point within a matter of just a few hours. And basically you fall. There's no energy required. You simply fall right into the Earth and then come out the other side. However, the technical problems are enormous. We would have to have gigantic drills that can drill right into the Earth and also drill not just at the surface of the Earth, but go right into the Earth itself, into the Earth's crust.
Please prepare for gravity reversal.
This is something that we cannot do at the present time because of geologic shifts, because of tectonic activity, because of heat. There's a nightmare of geological problems. But one day, we might be able to solve this problem by using drills. We're using nanotechnology that are super strong, able to go right through solid rock at a pretty good clip, and be able to connect 2 points on the surface of the Earth going right through the planet Earth. When you look at an ordinary science fiction movie, the good guys are in white, the bad guys are in black. Reality is reality, fiction is fiction, end of story. However, in Total Recall, everything gets jumbled up. What is real? What is unreal? And that's what I love about the movie. It turns the world upside down. So with the enormous advances that we've had in technology, one day we'll be able to do all those fantastic feats that we see in Total Recall.